Right. Then,
I'm still waiting for it to start.
yeah, if you can. That's Mr. Estock.
Yep.
While Stack. That's not.
How do I correctly pronounce her last name? Esstock. Here we go. And you still live on Fond du Lac Trail, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
This is the state of Wisconsin versus Kyle Estock, 25 CF 2584. Can I have appearances, please?
Sam Smith for the state.
Mr. Kyle Esstock appears in person in custody with counsel attorney David Anderson. Have received a copy of the criminal complaint. I do waive any further reading of that document. Ask court to enter not guilty pleas on any misdemeanor counts.
All right. And the complaint has an address for you on Fond du Lac Trail. Is that still a good mailing address?
Yes, sir.
And Attorney Anderson, will you be Mr. Estock's attorney moving forward?
I will be.
Okay, so you have the right to have an attorney represent you. Sounds like it'll be Attorney Anderson moving forward, all right?
Yep.
If you want, we can give you information on how to contact the public defender, just so you have that information. Would you like that or no?
Not as well.
All right. Just be aware that that information is out there, okay?
Cool.
I find probable cause in the complaint. What are the state's recommendations?
State's recommending cash bail in the amount of $500, along with the conditions that the defendant not possess any dangerous weapons, not consume or possess alcohol, and that he be banned from Garver Point Apartments. That's at 171 South Fair Oaks. Reason for the cash requests. I believe we are in Act 3 territory. I'll just note for the record, the defendant does not have any failures to appear. And it's relatively limited criminal history, but I think given what's alleged, $500 is appropriate.
I think we're in Act 3 territory as well. On behalf of Mr. Estock.
Thank you, Your Honor. We certainly do not have any objections at this time to the non-monetary conditions. I'd ask the court to consider a signature bond in this matter. Certainly understand that the allegations involve a firearm and what appears to be a firearm that is discharged. However, doesn't appear, it's hard for me to discern whether or not this was an accidental discharge or what related to it. I don't think the allegations warrant cash in this amount, so I'd ask you to order a signature bond in this case.
Any response from the state?
No, thank you.
All right. So while understanding that we're in Act 3 territory, I do think a signature bond here is appropriate. Or a signature bond, the conditions that you not use or possess any dangerous weapons, as that term is defined by statute, that you not use or possess any alcohol, that you not use or possess any controlled substances or drug paraphernalia without a valid prescription, and that you're banned from 171 South Fair Oaks Avenue. All right.
Get any questions you can ask me.
Is that definite?
It's not indefinite, it's a condition of your bond until the case is concluded.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you. And I'm sorry, we waive the time limits.
Okay, we'll waive the time limits for the felony count. I'll enter not guilty pleas as to misdemeanors counts 2 and 3. And we are adjourned. Thank you.
All right, sir. Next up is RENEE Sessions.
List of the IAs or no?
I'm sorry.
Do you have a list of all the IAs?
Do I have a list?
Yeah. but
On
cases-
my computer.
Oh, all right.
Um. Do you need a
Yeah,
list?
that's what I was looking for, a calendar, if we got one. Without charges, it's fine, just so I have an idea, thank you. I got some kind of Google Doc thing. Thank you.
And you're Ms. Simpson?
Yes.
Oh, you can face that way.
This is the state of Wisconsin versus Renee Simpson, 25 CM 2723. Can I have appearances, please?
Sam Smith for the state.
Yes.
Renee M. Simpson appears in person. She's in custody. Attorney Jason Gonzalez is making a special appearance on behalf of the Public Defender's Office. Your Honor, we have received a copy of the criminal complaint, waive its formal reading, and enter not guilty plea to count one. The address on Trout Road in Marshall is correct.
All right. And is Ms. Simpson eligible for a public defender?
I am looking right now, sorry. She is eligible.
So you have the right to have an attorney represent you at a hearing like this. You're eligible for the public defender. Hopefully they get somebody assigned for you or to you within the next couple of weeks, but sometimes it's a process that can take a few months, okay? I find probable cause in the complaint. What are the state's recommendations?
Commissioner, I believe there is someone who identifies as a victim that wants to be heard.
Okay. And is there somebody who identifies as a victim in this case who would like me to know something?
Yes.
Okay, can you please state and spell your first and last name or last initial for the record?
Yeah, my first name is Jennifer, Jenifer. My last name is Koberstein, Koberstein.
All right, and what would you like me to know?
I just want you to know that there's been I'm a neighbor, and I was called on the night that this happened by Renee's elderly mother, who phoned me to say that she was terrified. She'd been stalked into her room by Renee. When I arrived at the residence, Renee was very agitated, and it was quite scary. She was very animated and very angry, and I pulled her mother out into the garage. But this has been going on for a very, very long time, and her elderly mother has been the victim of this for a long time, and I've been a witness to it on multiple occasions, and I'm very concerned about the safety of her mother. I work in mental health, and Renee has significant issues and needs some help. But I am worried that because when she gets in these states, she often doesn't know who her mother is or who I am, that she could end up hurting her. So I'm worried about the safety of the people involved.
Okay, thank you. What are the state's recommendations?
The state is recommending a signature bond along with the conditions that the defendant not consume or possess alcohol, that she have no contact with Bonnie S, BONNIE, no contact with Jennifer K, it's JENIFER, and a ban from the 1500 block of Trout Road.
All right. And on behalf of Ms. Simpson?
Thank you, Your Honor. We would not oppose a signature bond or the no contact with the named victim that just spoke. However, we would ask that you allow her to go back to her residence at 1526 Trout Road, and that you allow her to have contact and have no acts or threats of violence towards her mother. That's who she resides with. We have no issue with the no alcohol or drugs type of provision. This is where she lives. If she was not able to return there, she would be without a residence.
All right. And any response from the state?
Just one moment, Your Honor. Your Honor, it's my understanding that the individual we've been referring to, Bonnie S, I believe has filed for a TRO. So from that, I think it's my understanding she's in support of a no contact condition. So I would ask you to grant that as well as the ban from the address.
grant the no contact in today's case. Is that correct?
Yes.
I guess, can I just respond?
Yeah.
I guess I would, if you wanna, I guess my position would be that you maybe, put an order that you, abide by any court orders if this is in fact granted. I don't know if mom wanted just a temporary order to kind of let things cool down and then she's not gonna pursue it. If she pursues it and gets it, obviously she has to adhere to it. So I don't know if you would do something more general that she abide by any other court orders.
And I do see 25 CV 3704, the TRO. And I'll give the state the last word.
Yeah, it's my understanding that the victim we've been referring to wants no contact in the long term as well as a ban from the address. If that changes down the road, she's more than able to contact my office and we can file a bail motion to get that amended. But as of right now, I think it's pretty clear she does not want contact and does not want the defendant at that residence.
Okay. So I'll enter a not guilty plea on Ms. Simpson's behalf. I'll order a signature bond with the condition that Ms. Simpson, you're not to use or possess any alcohol. You're to have no contact with Bonnie S. or Jennifer K. and that you're banned from the 1500 block of Trout Road. I certainly understand the request to just make this condition mirror the TRO, but all the information I have at this time is that the person identified as BMS, excuse me, does not want contact and it's in the long term. So the 72-hour no contact was enforced. BMS then went beyond that and filed a TRO. If parties wish for that to change, they can come back to court and ask for it to change. But right now, that's going to be my order. And I believe that's all I can do for the parties today. So we are adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, good luck.
Next up is TYLEEN Simmons. Simmons.
Is this your address? Okay, Department 121.
This is the state of Wisconsin versus TYLEEN Simmons, 25 CF 2590. Can I have appearances, please?
ADA Sam Smith for the state.
TYLEEN T. Simmons appears in person. He's in custody. Attorney Jason Gonzalez is making a special appearance on behalf of the state public defender. He does qualify for services. Address at 6834 Milwaukee Street, apartment 121 is correct.
All right, so you have the right to have an attorney represent you in a case like this. You are eligible for the public defender. Hopefully they get somebody appointed to you within the next few weeks. Sometimes it's a process that can take a few months, okay? I find probable cause in the complaint. What are the state's recommendations?
I apologize. I was having a,
If there's a victim who wants to make a statement.
yeah.
Okay. Is there somebody who identifies as a victim in this case who would like me to know something?
Yeah, 2 people.
Okay, and we'll go one at a time. Can the first person identify themselves with either their initials or their first name and last initial?
AR.
Okay. And AR, what would you like me to know?
That I don't fear him, and I don't think that he should have a high bond, and I'm not scared of him, and that it was all a misunderstanding. So I just asked that everything can just be taken into consideration, that it wasn't as big as it might seem to be.
Okay, thank you. And then can the second person there then come to the microphone and speak? Please identify yourself either with your initials or your first name and last initial.
RG, and I'm not scared of him. I'm not afraid of him. That's my cousin.
And I don't wish to not have a no contact with him. Like, I want to have contact with him. and I do want him to be able to be around my residence.
To be around your residence?
Yeah, like I don't want to no contact. Like I want to still be able to have contact with him.
Okay, thank you. What are the state's recommendations?
State is recommending cash bail in the amount of $5,000, along with the conditions that the defendant make no acts or threats of violence towards RG, TM, and AR. Reason for the cash request in this case, it looks like this is the defendant's fourth pending felony case. One of his pending cases is fleeing and eluding charge. We are in Act 3 territory here. So I think under when you take an Act 3 analysis and couple that with a likelihood to appear analysis, I don't think there's any history of failing to appear, but I would argue that based on the charge of fleeing and eluding, it's likely or possible. I think considering everything that $5,000 is appropriate.
Okay, thank you. And Attorney Gonzalez?
Thank you, Your Honor. There is no history of failure to appear. Mr. Simmons is indigent. He does qualify for services and is represented by Attorney Ragstra in the other matters. It actually looks like he in 25 CF 2048 was originally given cash bail, and then it was amended down to a signature bond most recently on October 20th. Given that fact that there's no history of missed appearances and the statements from the alleged victims, I'm asking that you consider a signature bond in this matter with the conditions that the state asked for.
Okay, and any response from the state?
No, thank you.
Okay. We're here on 3 felony bail jumpings in addition to the misdemeanor charges. That always gives me a lot of concern, especially when the allegations include violence. Leads me to believe some cash is necessary, maybe not the amount of $5,000. I'm going to order $2,000 cash. The conditions that you make no acts or threats of violence to KG, TM, or AR. You'll also have the other standard conditions of bail. Okay, so I'll highlight 2 of those standard conditions. Show up for court and follow the law. As you're kind of seeing now, those bail jumping charges can stack mighty fast. They have taken what would otherwise be misdemeanor allegations and turned it into a felony complaint. Okay, so it's going to be very important that you comply with the conditions
For this case. We would ask for a timely prelim, Your Honor.
Okay, we'll keep the time limits in place for the preliminary hearing then, and we are adjourned.
All right.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Next up is Clinton Burns. Burns.
This is the state of Wisconsin versus Clinton Burns, 25 CF 1722, 25 CF 1910, 25 CT 721. Can I have appearances, please?
Sam Smith for the state.
Clinton S. Burns appears in person. He's in custody with counsel Jason Gonzalez, who's making a special appearance on behalf of the public defender. Your Honor, he does qualify for services, and we have received copies of the respective criminal complaints, waive their formal reading. I will verify the address. What's a good address? So no permanent address. Is there any way you can get mail?
Maybe if they mail back.
Or,
I don't.
okay, he's telling me he can get mail at 7172 Hayward, HAYWARD Crossing Arena 53503.
All righty. So you have the right to have an attorney represent you in a case like this. Looks like you qualify for the public defender. I notice Attorney Kavanaugh is assigned on some of your earlier cases. So if he's assigned through the public defender's office, he should be automatically appointed to this newest case, okay? And 25 CF 1722, we've already held the initial appearance in that case. In that case, there was a bench warrant put out in 25 CT 721. We have not held the initial appearance in that case. There was a warrant put out after a failure to appear at the IA. And in 25 CF 1910, there was a failure to appear at the initial appearance, and there was a warrant out for that case. I find probable cause in the complaints, 25 CT 721 and 25 CF 1910. What are the state's recommendations for bond in each case?
Starting with the bail hearing, 25 CF 1722. State is recommending $500 cash, along with the conditions that the defendant not operate a motor vehicle without a valid driver's license, and that he not consume or possess controlled substances or drug paraphernalia without a valid prescription. In regards to 25 CF 1910, the state is again requesting $500 cash with a condition that he not operate a motor vehicle without a valid license. And 25 CT 721. State is recommending $500 cash, condition that he not operate a motor vehicle without a valid license and not consume or possess controlled substances or drug paraphernalia without a valid prescription. Reason for the cash requests in all of these cases is due to the failures to appear at the IAs. And in regards to the case we're here for a bail hearing, the bench warrant that Your Honor mentioned on, I believe that was issued October 6th after the defendant failed to appear. I'll note he did appear on August 14th for an out of custody IA. I'm not sure if it was a status or what kind of hearing was set on October 6th, but I believe he was given adequate notice, so I think cash in each of these cases is appropriate.
All right. So for the last case, 25 CT 721, state requested $500 cash and what conditions?
To not operate a motor vehicle without a valid driver's license and not consume or possess controlled substances or drug paraphernalia without a valid prescription.
And Attorney Gonzalez?
Thank you, Your Honor. We have no objection to the conditions. However, I would note as it relates to, as the state indicated, he did show up for an out of custody IA on the CF matter back in August. It was set for a status conference. Unfortunately, he did not appear because he did not have adequate transportation. He was not in warrant status for a significant period of time. He was, due to that transportation issues, not able to get to the other IAs. So I think kind of cuts both ways that he did show up out of custody, but then missed an out of custody hearing. He is indigent, qualifies for SPD services. The amount of bail requested is not going to be obtainable for Mr. Burns. We're asking that you consider signature bond and possibly pretrial services.
And is there somebody who wanted to speak? Attorney Smith?
Give me one moment.
I don't see it in my notes.
No.
No? Yeah. All right, and any response from the state?
No, thank you.
Okay. Well, I understand the transportation issues. It seems like there was no communication from Mr. Burns to the court about that. It looks like he just didn't appear and let the chips fall where they may. Okay, you need to talk to your attorney first. These hearings are recorded and anything you say could be used against you. I can give you some time to talk with your attorney if you'd like. Okay,
He's indicating no, he's ready to proceed.
very good. But that communication has to exist, and not only that, but we're here on a new complaint, or I'm sorry, yeah, and I believe we're here because Mr. Burns was picked up, is that correct? It wasn't a case where he turned himself in, right?
Let me look here. And they just saw you?
Yeah.
He was walking in Oregon, he says, and they, I think, know him and knew he had a warrant for his arrest.
That being said, I don't know that $500 in each case is the right amount. I think something lower can probably suffice to make sure that Mr. Burns makes all of his court cases and complies with the conditions of bond. I'm going to order $250 in each case. And also in each case, the conditions will be the same. So for each case, in addition to the $250, I'm going to order that you not operate a motor vehicle without a valid license, that you not consume or possess any controlled substances or drug paraphernalia without a valid prescription. And I'm going to order that you not operate a motor vehicle without a functioning ignition interlock device. I'll enter not guilty pleas as to any misdemeanors. In regards to the time limits for the felony counts,
I believe time limits were previously waived in 25 CF 1722. However, we're having an IA on 25 CF 1910, so I'd ask for a timely prelim in 1910. I don't know if Your Honor could just schedule them both at the same time.
I think we should be able to get that done. I assume there's no objection from the state on that?
No.
Okay. So we'll get those scheduled at the same time. I believe that's,
So you'll have court, they're gonna give you a notice, bail form to sign. In order to get out, you have to post.
I believe that's all I can do for the parties today, so we are adjourned.
So Clayton will be in touch with you.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you. You can go right now.
Can you get a moment?
So we want to start on the board.
Yep.
Next up is Mr. Christopher Caleb for bail bond hearing.
This is the state of Wisconsin versus Christopher Caleb, 25 CM 2314. Can I have appearances, please?
Sam Smith for the state.
Christopher M. Caleb appears in person. Attorney Jason, he's in custody. Attorney Jason Gonzalez is making a special appearance on behalf of the State Public Defender's Office. Your Honor, he does qualify for the SPD services. The address should be the Beacon, which I believe is 615 East Washington Avenue, 53703.
You have the right to have an attorney represent you in a case like this. It looks like Attorney Anthony Gray was appointed on October 7th, 2025, okay? We're here for a bail bond hearing. The IA was held at the beginning of October, signature bond was set, and then there was a non-appearance at a pre-trial conference. Judge Schlipper issued the bench warrant. That was about a week ago, a little less than a week ago. What are any information on behalf of Mr. Caleb about the non-appearance, and then I'll proceed to the state.
I would just say he said he didn't have any notice. It said arrested or warrant. It says on these notes here, it says he turned himself in, but it was arrested at home. So I guess that's what I have. He just said he had no notice. I would also note, Your Honor, which is kind of weird, I do see the admission of Attorney Gray on October 7th. However, there's no documentation that he's attorney of record, which is probably an error on the SPD when they filed the notice. And then frankly, he didn't even appear on November 6th either, Attorney Gray, which leads me to believe there was not that he made a mistake, but that there was some kind of conflicts, you know, in terms of the computer entry and stuff, which might have led to Attorney Gray not reaching out to Mr. Caleb, and therefore the ship's passing in the night. So Mr. Gray apologizes Mr. Caleb apologizes for his missed appearance.
It looks like there was notice on the bond form that was signed with the correct date, time, and location for the hearing. What are the state's recommendations?
The state is recommending a modest amount of cash. We already went through we had a in custody IA here on October 1st, was presumably given notice for the November 6th date. I'll defer to the court as to a specific amount, but I think some cash is necessary along with the reinstatement of the no contact and no alcohol condition.
All right. And on behalf of Mr. Caleb?
I guess I would note, it doesn't appear that he's here for new charges, so I think that's a positive thing. As well as it relates to the conditions, we have no objection to that. He is unhoused and doesn't have a permanent residence, and it qualifies for services, so he advises me any cash would be a significant hurdle for him to obtain. So I'd ask that you consider, given the facts here, that there was no new charges and another signature bond with the same conditions.
Okay. And any response from the state?
No.
Okay. So whenever you sign a bond form, you're agreeing to do a few things. I'll highlight two. They're show up for court and follow the law. All right. It's going to be your responsibility to show up for court, not your attorney's. If you're concerned about getting notice, you've given us an address, but if you're concerned about it or you want something a little more direct, if you have a telephone, you can sign up for notification by text message. If you don't, obviously that's not an option, but just something to keep in mind if your circumstances change, okay? You can talk with your attorney. These hearings are recorded and anything you say could be used against you. So I just want to make sure it goes through your attorney.
They would be able to, so they're gonna give you a piece of paper when you get out, which will have the date, so just don't lose that date. Okay.
All right. So if you, I'll offer a signature bond with the same conditions as before. Have no contact with Lazaro LASAROG as in Garfield. And that you shall not consume or possess any alcohol, okay? So please make sure you show up for court. I'm being told that if there's any amount you'll have to post, you won't be able to post it. If you continue to miss court, there will be an amount to post, okay? So it's your responsibility to show up for court, all right? Okay. All right, so you won't get a date for the court hearing today. For the next one, the branch will set it. So make sure you're staying in touch with your attorney and that you're reaching out to the branch if you need it to get that date, okay?
I was just gonna give him the general public defender's number so he could call to get Attorney Grace. So call them maybe and ask them about your attorney. I'm not your attorney, but they can give you his contact info.
Yeah, and I know this is a complicated process, but if you're just reaching out, somebody should be able to point you in the right direction, okay? All right, and with that, we are adjourned. Thank you.
Next up is Corey Smith.
This is the state of Wisconsin versus Corey Smith, 25 CF 2591. Can I have appearances, please?
Sam Smith for the state.
Corey J. Smith appears in person in custody. Attorney Jason Gonzalez is making a special appearance on behalf of the state public defender. Your Honor, he does qualify for SPD services. We have received a copy of the criminal complaint, waive its formal reading, enter not guilty plea to any misdemeanor counts. And his address should be 1819 Aberg Avenue.
Okay. Yeah, it looks like the complaint has suite D. Are you saying remove that suite D from it?
Do you need Sweet D or no? I've never seen Sweet D on for the, it's the job center, so I don't know if they need Sweet D or not, to be honest with you. I think.
And when I normally see it, I don't see that the suite. But I don't know what your circumstances are. So we can leave that STED, we can leave that in. If you want it in. But I'm guessing it's extraneous, it's extra. So does that need to be removed or kept?
Probably kept because while I was here, they sent my ID to Aberg and they sent it back as I was the same here, so I could hold it back.
Well, I think that probably happened because if there's mail that sits there for a period of time, they do send it back. So that might have been the issue. I guess I would say probably remove Sweet D.
Okay, well, we'll remove that piece. I think it's probably extra. I'll note that Mr. Smith does have a DOC hold. I find probable cause in the complaint. What are the state's recommendations?
The state is recommending cash bail in the amount of $5,000, along with a ban from the 2000 block of Zaire Road. And no contact with Murray A. It's MURRAY. Last initial A is an apple. In support of the $5,000, I'll note this is an Act 3 offense, and I believe in the complaint there is also evidence of a prior Act 3 conviction. I believe the defendant was convicted on February 7th, 2024 of a substantial battery charge. For those reasons, the state feels $5,000 is appropriate.
All right, Attorney Gonzalez.
Thank you. As Your Honor pointed out, he's on a PO hold, so this is somewhat academic, but he is not able to post 5,000. He's indigent. If Your Honor feels cash is necessary, we'd ask for a lesser amount and no issues with the conditions.
Okay, and any response from the state?
I'll just note again, it's an Act 3 offense. He's on probation for a previous Act 3 offense, so I think the state's request is reasonable.
All right, I'll order $1,000 cash with the conditions that Mr. Smith is banned from the 2000 block of Zaire Road in Madison, and that he'll have no contact with Murray A. I'll enter a not guilty pleas to count 2. Count 1 is a felony. Will the prelim time limits be kept or waived?
Kept, please, Your Honor.
Okay, we'll keep those time limits then, and we are adjourned. Thank you. I wish you the best, sir.
Right this way. Next up is Louis Lorena SESMA.
He's gonna need paperwork to apply. Yeah, because they didn't interview him or he hasn't applied yet, so. It's all good. Oh, no, not that guy. Sorry, the guy coming out. He qualifies. Sorry, my bad. You're gonna need to apply to a public defender if you want that.
That's not an
They haven't gotten paperwork.
M.A.
Call him again.
Lorena or Lorena, LLERENA. Lorena.
Sounds good.
Luis Lorena SESMA. This is the state of Wisconsin versus Luis Lorena SESMA, 25 CM 2718. Can I have appearances, please?
Sam Smith for the state.
Louis Lorena SESMA appears in person. He's in custody. Attorney Jason Gonzalez is making a special appearance on behalf of the Wisconsin State Public Defender's Office. Your Honor, we have received a copy of the criminal complaint, waive its formal reading. I was advised by the SPD that they haven't determined his eligibility. However, Mr. SESMA told me he has been in contact with them. I encouraged him to contact them again. Yeah, 1138 Moreland Road, apartment 108 is correct.
Okay. So you have the right to have an attorney represent you on a case like this, sir. I believe Attorney Gonzalez said your eligibility is in question. So what you'll need to do is reach out to the public defender's office and finish the evaluation process.
I've been calling every day. Tell them, yeah, I call every day, they tell me that they plan to give me a lawyer, but they haven't found one.
Okay, I wouldn't call every day. I would call. So it's a process that can take some time. So what I would do if I were you is, I'd finish applying on this newest case, because every time you pick up a new case, there has to be a new application. So finish applying on this newest case, and then it may just be something where they're waiting for somebody to accept appointment to your case. Like I said, that's a process that can take a few months sometimes, sometimes more than a few. Hopefully it doesn't take that long for you though. All right. I find probable cause in the complaint. What are the state's recommendations?
State's recommending cash bail in the amount of $500, along with the conditions that the defendant have no contact with Mariah W. It's MARIAH. That's initial W as in William. And a ban from the 5200 block of Camden Road, CAMDEN, and that's in Madison.
All right. And Attorney Gonzalez?
I would note, Mr. SESMA advised me he's on appeal hold. We're not going to object to any of the conditions of the cash bail at this point.
Okay. So I'll order $500 cash with the condition that you have no contact with Mariah W., that you're banned from the 5200 block of Camden Road in Madison. I'll enter not guilty pleas as the counts 1 and 2. And we are adjourned. Thank you.
Next up is Willie Fields.
Getting old.
Nice.
Back starting to hurt me.
No, I totally happy I don't have to stand up.
They will be.
This is the state of Wisconsin versus Willie Fields, 25 CF 2585. Can I have appearances, please?
Sam Smith for the state.
Willie A. Fields appears in person. He's in custody. Attorney Jason Gonzalez is making a special appearance on behalf of the Public Defender's Office. He is not eligible right now, and the address at 4206 Portland Parkway, Madison 53714 is correct.
All right. So you have the right to have an attorney represent you on a case like this, sir. You're not eligible for the public defender, but if you believe your circumstances have changed, you can reach out to them and ask for them to reevaluate you, okay?
Who?
The public defender. Can you hear me all right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I got brain veterans. I'm 100% disabled veteran.
Okay. Well, I'm not familiar with how the evaluation process works, but they found that you're not eligible. What you can also do is take the finding that you're not eligible to the clerk of courts and ask for the county to pay for some of the cost of your representation, okay? But that's a separate process.
Okay, I gotta still go to veteran because I really don't know what's going on. I called the police 5 times and 5 times I'm arrested, so I don't know what's going on.
Okay. I find probable cause in the complaint. There was a PSA filed. It has this listed as a 4 out of 6 on the new criminal activity scale and a 3 out of 6 on the failure to appear scale. Considers the current offense violent. Notes that there are prior misdemeanor and felony convictions, 1 prior violent conviction, no prior failures to appear in the past 2 years, but some older than 2 years old. Recommends cash bail, pretrial supervision, and electronic monitoring. What are the state's recommendations?
State's recommending a signature bond, no contact with SLM, and no consumption or possession of alcohol. I'm not specifically asking for pretrial services, but given what's in the PSA, I'll defer to the court if the court feels it's appropriate. Thank you.
All right. And Attorney Gonzalez.
We have no objection to a signature bond, so you'd be getting out on a signature bond.
Okay, but
Well,
I want this lady not around my house, out of my house.
okay. So we have no objection and no contact.
Okay.
I would just note he is disabled, gets SSDI or SSI and VA disability benefits. Just saying that so your honor's aware of that. I'd ask that you not at this point order pretrial services, but the rest of the conditions are fine.
All right. And anything further from the state?
No. Right, there's no
I'm
conflict.
going to order a signature bond.
Just
The
listen to him
condition
first.
that you have no contact with SLM and that you not use or possess any alcohol. I'll enter not guilty pleas to counts 2 and 3. The time limits for the preliminary hearing on count 1.
We'd waive them, your honor, ask for status conference.
All right, we'll waive the time limits for the prelim.
Jail, but you cannot have contact with her, so.
Well, I don't
Okay.
want her to have contact with me.
Okay, so then don't have contact with her.
No, that's why I'm going to the VA.
Works out good.
I'm going to talk to the people there.
All right.
Get the government involved.
All right.
All right, good luck.
Thank you, sir.
Sweet. Next up is Terry Brady.
Yes. Thank you. You can just spray me down. Next up.
This is the state of Wisconsin versus Terry Brady, 25 CM 2138. Can I have appearances, please?
Sam Smith for the state.
Terry J. Brady appears in person. He's in custody. Attorney Jason Gonzalez is making a special appearance on behalf of the State Public Defender's Office. Your Honor, we have received a copy of the criminal complaint, waive its formal reading, enter a not guilty plea. The address at 1026 Jana Lane is correct, and he is eligible for services.
So you have the right to have an attorney represent you on cases like this. You are eligible for the public defender. So hopefully they get somebody appointed for you sooner rather than later, but it's a process that can take a few months, okay?
Okay.
I find probable cause in the complaint. What are the state's recommendations for bail?
State's recommending a signature bond, along with the condition that the defendant be banned from the Amazon building except during his own working hours.
I was just trying to get a job.
That's fine. Just.
And does that complete the state's recommendation?
It does. I was just looking if the court needed a specific address.
I think something more specific than the Amazon building would be appreciated.
That's what I figured. But that's all my requests. We can just need one moment to find that specific address.
You could say Amazon building off of Milwaukee Street. That's the one he tells me it was.
Okay.
It's the 3600 block. I mean, I'm not asking for him to be banned from the whole block. That's correct.
All right.
No objection to any of the conditions.
Okay, then I'll order a signature bond. The condition that you're banned from the Amazon building located off of Milwaukee Street, except during any working hours you may have. I'll enter a not guilty plea on your behalf, and we are adjourned. Thank you.
You'll be getting out. Okay, good luck.
Right this way. Next up is Todd Sandridge.
Hey, how are you?
This is the state of Wisconsin versus Todd Sandridge, 25 CF 2596. Can I have appearances, please?
Sam Smith for the state.
Todd N. Sandridge appears in person in custody. Attorney Jason Gonzalez is making a special appearance on behalf of the Public Defender's Office. Your Honor, we waive formal reading of this complaint. Enter not guilty pleas to any misdemeanor counts. It's my understanding that he has a private attorney, Michael Short, on other matters. And 4908, so 4908 Camden Road, Apartment B, 53716 here in Madison is correct.
Okay.
Oh, I got it right here.
So you have the right to have an attorney represent you in a case like this. It sounds like you've retained your own attorney. So that's good. If you'd like, we can provide you with information on the public defenders, how to contact them as well. Would you like that information?
Yeah.
Okay, we'll give you a sheet with that information on it. Thank you. I'm just looking through the complaint. Find probable cause in the complaint. What are the state's recommendations?
State's recommending cash bail in the amount of $100,000, along with the condition that the defendant not operate a motor vehicle under any circumstance. Reason for the high cash bail request here, Your Honor. This was a extremely aggravated Act 3 offense. Rather, what's being alleged is that rather complying with a simple OWI investigation in the middle of the day, the defendant violently assaulted and hospitalized a Madison traffic officer. He then gets into his car in the UW campus area. During the daytime, he's running red lights, nearly hitting several people, including many UW students, presumably in the Regent and Park Street area. Most of this was captured on video. Based on the strength of the state's case, the likelihood of, or the amount of exposure and likelihood of a prison sentence here, and the Act 3 analysis, the state feels that $100,000 is appropriate.
All right, and there was a PSA filed. I don't think I've seen a bigger discrepancy before between the state's recommendation and the PSA recommends a signature bond, considers the New allegations, a 3 out of 6 on the new criminal activity scale and a 3 out of 6 on the failure to appear scale. It considers the current offense violent. It notes that there were no pending charges at the time of the offense, but there were prior misdemeanor and felony convictions. It notes there were no prior violent convictions or prior failures to appear, either within the past 2 years or older than 2 years old. But it does note there's a prior sentence to incarceration. Attorney Gonzalez?
Thank you, Your Honor. We would object, obviously, to the state's request. We'd ask for a signature bond consistent with the PSA. Mr. Sandridge advises me his last case involving the criminal court system was 9 years ago. He is employed with a company In Motion. He has 4 kids. He resides here in Dane County, is a leaseholder at Camden Road for over 4 years, has siblings and his children, as well as extended family and friends in the area. Given the PSA's recommendation, as well as we haven't heard any failures to appear in the recent past, I believe signature bond would be appropriate in this matter. And I'd ask that you and signature bond. In terms of the conditions, I guess the no driving, I'd ask that he not be able to, not drive if he doesn't have a valid driver's license to that effect, instead of just a no drive.
And any response from the state?
Prior to Act 3, I agree with Attorney Gonzalez, but Act 3 is a thing to consider here. I think when considering the dangerousness of what's being alleged here, I don't think it can be overstated. As to the no driving condition, I think someone stopped for a simple OWI. If he would have complied with an investigation, then that's maybe something where the state would be asking for no driving without a valid license. But after assaulting an officer and then just driving extremely recklessly and dangerously, I think a no drive condition and the requested cash is appropriate.
All right.
Commissioner, just so the record's clear, Mr. Sandridge has a failure to appear that's older than 2 years from Fond du Lac County. It's 11 CM 882. On February 28 of 12, there was a non-appearance at the initial appearance and a bench warrant was issued.
Thank you for that correction. It looks like I did read that wrong, that there was a failure to appear older than 2 years old. Thank you for that correction. Mr. Rogers?
Do you want to sit on here?
Over for you. I largely agree with the state, but I think $10,000 is a little bit too high. I'm going to order $15,000 cash with the condition that Mr. Sandridge not operate a motor vehicle. I will enter, in regards to the time limits for the preliminary hearing.
We'd ask it for a timely prelim.
Okay, we'll keep the time limits in place then, and we are adjourned. Thank you, sir.
I apologize, Your Honor. Did you set what non-monetary condition did you set?
No motor vehicle. I believe that's the only one that state requested. If I miss anything, you guys should feel free to jump in and let me know.
I think you said 10,000 was excessive and you ordered 15. I think you meant to say 100,000.
Oh, wait, what?
In the last case, they asked for 100,000 and then you said 10,000 is excessive and then ordered 15, but I think you meant to say 100,000 was
Yes,
excessive.
yeah.
We got the gist.
Yep, sorry. Can I get a glass of water with a chance, please? Yeah. What? Thank you.
The actual amount.
It was 15,000.
I'm 15 registered.
Thank you, sir.
It was gonna go down.
The next one's part one.
Okay, perfect. Does he need an interpreter? Okay, perfect. You don't need it. You don't need an interpreter, right?
No, I don't.
Okay, I'll represent you for today, okay?
This is the state of Wisconsin versus Francisco Carmona Jr., 25 CM 2713. Can I have appearances, please?
Sam Smith for the state.
Francisco Carmona Jr. appears in person in custody. Attorney Jason Gonzalez is making a special appearance on his behalf. Your Honor, we have received a copy of the criminal complaint, waive its formal reading, enter a not guilty plea. The address at 633 Windsor Street in Sun Prairie is correct. Is there an apartment?
No, that's my house.
Okay. And he does not qualify for services through the public defender's office.
All right. So you have the right to have an attorney represent you on a case like this. You're not eligible for the public defender. There's kind of two things you can do with that information. If you believe your circumstances have changed and you want to be re-evaluated, you can ask them to re-evaluate you with your new circumstances. Otherwise, you can take the finding that you're not eligible to the clerk of courts at the Dane County Courthouse and ask them to evaluate you to see if the county will cover some of the cost of your representation, okay?
No, fair enough. There is a PSA as well, Your Honor. I just noticed.
Yep. And that has a 4 out of 6 on the new criminal activity, a 2 out of 6 on the failure to appear. Doesn't consider the current offense violent. Notes there were no pending charges at the time of the offense, but it does note that Mr. Carmona Jr. has prior misdemeanor and felony convictions, 2 prior violent convictions, but no failures to appear within the past 2 years or older than 2 years. The PSA recommends a signature bond and pretrial supervision. What are the state's recommendations?
State's recommending a signature bond along with a ban from Quick Trip on the 1200 block of West Main Street. That's in Sun Prairie.
All right. No objection. So you'll be getting out today.
So I'll order a signature bond with the conditions or condition that you're banned from the Quick Trip on the 1200 block of West Main Street. Did you say that was in Sun Prairie, Madison?
Sun Prairie.
Sun Prairie. And Sun Prairie. I'll enter a not guilty plea on your behalf and we are adjourned. Thank you.
Next up is Marcus Morel for a bail bond hearing.
Is he on the list or was he just an add-on? Oh, I see it there. I see it. Sorry.
This is the state of Wisconsin versus Marcus Morel, 25 CF 2289. Can I have appearances, please?
Sam Smith for the state.
Marcus Q. Morel appears in person in custody. Attorney Jason Gonzalez is making a special appearance on behalf of the Wisconsin State Public Defender's Office. Your Honor, the information I have is that he's not eligible for services. And he does, the address should be 903 Del Plain, DELAPLAINE. Is that Court Street? What is Del Plain?
Del Plain Court, Apartment 215.
Court, Apartment 215, Madison, 53715.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
If I could interject here for a moment. We've got no sound coming as far as soon it goes across the street to our remote computer. Have you had any indication of anyone?
Not from my office yet, no.
And I
Usually you're
think,
the first person to hear from.
Yeah,
all right, so it sounds like it's isolated to the bailiff's office across the street.
See, that sounds like the problem. I'm hearing.
So you're not eligible for a public defender, but you have the right to have somebody represent you at a hearing like this. It's like the time limits for counts. So what you should do is, do you have a plan for representation as your case moves forward?
Well, I'm not sure if there's another court hearing or if there's, I don't know, cause I missed the court date, so somebody came and picked me up for a warrant because I missed my court date, so I'm not sure if there was a court hearing and, the other people showed up at the court hearing because I wasn't there, and then like, I didn't get nothing in the mail because I left, when I left the Dane County Jail, last time I was here, a week ago before the court hearing, I lost a piece of paper. I don't think I received anything in the mail for a court date.
I think I knew around what time it was. I didn't end up showing up. And then so that when they came to my place, they said I had a warrant for not showing up at court. And then while I was here in the last few days, I was thinking maybe I might have to go to court or I might have to pay a fine. I'm not sure where I go from there. But I do receive Social Security. I don't receive that much, but I'm not sure where I go from here or what happens from here.
Yep, so I'll take arguments about what people think bail should be set up, but it looks like you did miss a court date, and that's the onus for the warrant. So what are the state's recommendations?
Given the failure to appear for the prelim on October 23rd, the state feels $500 cash is appropriate, along with the same non-monetary condition. It's no contact with Elise M. I can spell that.
My check, I have
I'm sorry?
I said I can spell that if you guys need it spelled.
14.
It looks like we have it.
You get my bank
Past
to
edition.
borrow the next day.
Okay.
Just I will have it. I will have the money.
Okay, just hold on a second.
But it's-
Thank you. It appears he did post $200, so I don't think I have any basis to argue that cash isn't necessary. I don't believe that was forfeited though, correct?
I don't see that it was forfeited.
Okay, I guess I'm asking that you consider an additional 200 for a total of $400. So doubling it instead of 500, but I know this is somewhat modest given the classification of what we're facing. No issue with the conditions.
Okay. And any response from the state?
No.
Okay, I'll increase cash by $200. And I'll keep the additional non-monetary condition that you have no contact with Elise M. Please make sure you're showing up for court. It's your responsibility to show up for court when court is scheduled. If you're not sure, you can reach out and get the court date if you lose the paper. Otherwise, if you have a telephone, you can sign up for text message notifications as well. And then you'll just get a text with the court date. Then you'll have it on your phone, all right?
Yeah, I'll make sure. I live down the street. Is the court hearing at this building across the street?
Is that what?
Is the court hearing at the building across the street at the Dane County? Or
Yep.
the Madison?
Yep, the Dane County Courthouse.
Okay, yeah.
Yep.
In order to get out, you'd have to post $200.
Get out of here.
Yep.
Yes.
So like, when I get my money tomorrow, if I call somebody, I can post it to get out today.
He doesn't have
If I
an
need to,
attorney.
if I want to.
Get correct. Whoever posts $200, whether it's you, whoever, you have to post $200 to get out.
All right,
That's
sounds good.
And
Yep, so it'll be an additional $200 to get out. Additionally, will the time limits be kept for the preliminary hearing?
Yes, given that he didn't waive them before, so I'd ask that they keep them.
Okay, so we'll keep the time limits in place. Sir, you should work on getting an attorney because the state's going to be ready to go with the next hearing in this case. Since you haven't waived time limits, all right? You could waive your time limits, and that would give you more time to connect with an attorney and then work on preparing a defense.
All right,
You want to do that?
yeah, cause
Okay, so we waive time limits. You don't have to give an
Okay.
explanation.
Yep, we'll waive the time limits then. And with that, we are adjourned.
Thank you. Post the 200 and get out. All right, good luck, sir.
Next up is DEZIREE NICOLEPATIENCE.
Who's next?
Ms. Hood?
Thank you.
This is the state of Wisconsin versus DEZIREE Hood, 25 CF 2587. Can I have appearances, please?
Sam Smith for the state.
DEZIREE N. Hood appears in person. She's in custody. Attorney Jason Gonzalez is making a special appearance on behalf of the Wisconsin State Public Defender's Office. Ms. Hood is eligible for services. The address on Raymond Road at 6222 Raymond Road is correct. And we'd waive formal reading at this time.
All right. I'm sorry, you said the address was correct?
Yes, at 6222 Raymond Road is correct.
Very good. You have the right to have an attorney represent you in a case like this. You are eligible for a public defender. Hopefully they get somebody appointed for you within the next few weeks, but sometimes it's a process that can take a few months, okay? I find probable cause in the complaint. What are the state's recommendations?
The state is recommending a signature bond along with the condition that the defendant have no contact with the co-defendant, Marshawn Taylor. No consumption or possession of controlled substances or drug paraphernalia without a valid prescription, and no use or possession of any financial instruments or identification documents unless they are in her own name. That's all the request. Thank you.
No objection.
Okay,
We'd waive time limits, Your Honor, as well.
all right.
This is for you. So they'll give some paperwork to sign. Get on it.
So I'll enter a not guilty plea as to count 2. We'll waive the time limits for the preliminary hearing on count 1. I'll order a signature bond. The condition that you have no contact with Marshawn Taylor, that you not use or possess any controlled substances or drug paraphernalia without a valid prescription, and that you not use or possess any financial instruments or identification documents unless they're in your own name. All right? And we are adjourned. Thank you.
Next up is Samara Stacy.
Still there. What's a good address for? What's your address? Okay.
This is the state of Wisconsin versus Shamira Stacy, 25 CM 2719. Did I say your name incorrect? Shamira? Okay, thank you for the correction. Shamira Stacy, 25 CM 2719. Can I have appearances, please?
Sam Smith for the state.
Shamira R. Stacy appears in person. She's in custody. Attorney Jason Gonzalez is making a special appearance on behalf of the Wisconsin State Public Defender's Office. Your Honor, the address should be updated to 1819 Aber Avenue, Madison 53704. We have received a copy of the complaint, waive its formal reading, and her not guilty pleas to both counts. She is eligible for services and frankly has another matter that she's waiting for an appointment of an attorney on.
All right, so you have the right to have an attorney represent you in a case like this. Looks like you are eligible for the public defender. Looks like along with this case and your other case, they're just waiting to get somebody to accept appointment. So you've done what you needed to do.
Yeah.
And it's kind of a waiting game. at this point.
I don't know if you remember, she had appeared with me with the other case, but she told me that I could request, but it just happened to be my court date was the day she was out of the country. She was on vacation.
So I would just call the public defender and then ask them that. We'll get you this. I think this might be it right here. This is great. Just call them at this number and request her.
Okay.
I find probable cause in the complaint. There was a PSA file, has this case listed as a 4 out of 6 on the new criminal activity scale, a 2 out of 6 on the failure to appear. Doesn't consider the current offense violent. It does note there was a pending charge at the time of the offense, but no prior misdemeanor or felony convictions, no prior violent convictions, and no prior failures to appear. Recommends a signature bond and pretrial supervision. What are the state's recommendations?
State's recommending a signature bond, a ban from all Dairy Queen locations, and no contact with RP.
No objection.
All right. Then I'll enter not guilty pleas on Ms. Stacy's behalf. I'll order the signature bond. The condition that you're banned from Dairy Queens and that you're to have no contact with RP, and we are adjourned. Thank you.
They'll give you that paper, but you're gonna get out here in a little bit. Okay.
We'll take a short break.
Staff attorneys take too long. You can revoke you.
Next up is Tiffany Haynes.
Tiffany, what, Haynes? Okay, thank you.
Still there. Is that address is correct for you? Okay, all right, sounds good. I'll give this right back to you in a second.
Might be a slight delay. So they said that.
Can I have your name, ma'am?
Hayes.
Stephanie Hayes?
Tiffany.
Tiffany Hayes, very good. This is the state of Wisconsin versus Tiffany Hayes, 25 CM 2715 and 25 CM 2716. Can I have appearances, please?
Sam Smith for the state.
Tiffany Hayes appears in person in custody. Attorney Jason Gonzalez is making a special appearance on behalf of Miss Hayes and the Wisconsin State Public Defender's Office. We have received a copy of the criminal complaints, waive their formal reading, enter not guilty pleas to the counts contained therein as they are misdemeanors. Her address should be 1819 Aberg Avenue, Madison 53704. She is eligible for services and there is a PSA here.
All right. So Ms. Hayes, you have the right to have an attorney represent you in a case like this. You are eligible for the Public Defender's Office. So hopefully they get somebody appointed for you sooner rather than later, but it is a process that can take a few months, okay? There was a PSA filed in this case. Excuse me, in each case. It has each case listed as a 4 out of 6 on the new criminal activity scale and a 5 out of 6 on the failure to appear scale. It doesn't consider the current offense violent, but it notes there were pending charges at the time of the offense. Notes no prior misdemeanor convictions, but prior felony convictions. No prior violent convictions, but 2 or more failures to appear within the past 2 years. Recommends modest cash bail and pretrial supervision. What are these states' recommendations?
State's recommending, I'll start with 25 CM 2715. State's recommending $500 cash in the standard conditions. Reason for the cash, looks like the defendant now has 3 open cases in Wisconsin, 1 in Rock County, 2 here in Dane County. At least 2 of them involve resisting behavior against law enforcement. The defendant had a bench warrant in Rock County from January 23rd, 2024 through February 28th of 2024. And had another issued for a failure to appear on September 19th, 2024. When law enforcement tried to serve that warrant on the defendant, she was actively resistive. For that reason, the state feels cash is appropriate in 2715. And in regards to 25 CM 2716, state is again requesting $500 along with no contact with Kimberly G. It's KIMBERLY, last initial G as in Gary. And a ban from the 200 block of South Park Street. Reason for the cash in this case is the same that I already mentioned due to the failure to appear history. Thank you.
Alrighty. And Attorney Gonzalez?
Thank you, Your Honor. We would ask that you consider a signature bond in this case. Ms. Hayes is indigent. She is on Social Security disability. She does not have a permanent residence. As it relates to the ban on the 200 block of Park Street, I guess my concern with that is that's where Meriter Hospital is located. If she needed to, for some reason, be transported there, that would be our concern. I don't know if there's a specific other issue in the 200 block, like the apartment building or something. We could be maybe more specific, but that's my only issue with that 200 block ban.
All right, and response from the state?
I suppose if Meriter is really an issue, we can carve out an exception for if there's a legitimate medical emergency. But
I guess 99% of the people that go to the ER do not have a legitimate medical emergency as an EMS provider. So I guess I would say if you need to go to the hospital for purposes of medical treatment.
Okay. I think we'll be able to get that language, something agreeable for the parties.
Your Honor, I hate to interrupt. I would also just note, I believe Mr. Rogers has his hand raised in the Zoom. I'm not sure if that was from a previous hearing or if he has something more to add for this hearing.
All right, Mr. Rogers, is there information you'd like the court to know? Clark?
I'm sorry, Your Honor, I didn't realize that was still up from the previous hearing.
Okay, no worries.
All right, thank you.
Yep. Are you talking about? So, three open cases, it's a lot of exposure. I know these are just misdemeanors. But there's also that combined with the, resistant behavior that's alleged, leads me to believe that some cash is necessary to make sure that Ms. Hayes appears for court. So I'm going to order in 25 CM 2715, $250 cash with the standard conditions of bail. I'll highlight two of them. They are show up for court when court is scheduled and follow the law. So not showing up for court and not following the law could lead to additional charges called bail jumping, okay? In 25 CM 2716, I'll order $250 cash. I'll order that you have no contact with Kimberly G, and I'll ban you from the 200 block of South Park Street unless you're at Meritor Hospital for the purposes of treatment, okay?
Thank you.
If I missed it, I'll enter not guilty pleas to the misdemeanor counts, which is all 4 counts, and we are adjourned.
No, that's just for here. And Rob, you have to deal with that.
All right,
All right, thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks to Mr. Perry Shell, appearing by Zoom.
That was Stacy.
This is the state of Wisconsin versus Carrie Shell, 25 CF 934. Can I have appearances, please?
Sam Smith for the state.
Carrie J. Shell appears from the jail in custody. Attorney Jason Gonzalez is making a special appearance on behalf of the Wisconsin State Public Defender's Office. Your Honor, we have received a copy of the criminal complaint, waive its formal reading.
It looks like the IA has already been held.
Oh, sorry.
No problem.
Then the address should be the Beacon, 615 East Washington Avenue.
All right, we'll get that address updated in our system. Michelle, you have the right to have an attorney represent you on a case like this. It looks like you're eligible for the public defender. It looks like counsel was appointed in August. Then there was a failure to appear in September. It's like Attorney Schluter might have been appointed. Then there was another failure to appear the end of October. Now we're mid-November. Any information from Michelle on the failure to appear before I move to the state?
What I was given from the public defender's office is that, yes, she didn't have a date set and have notice of it is what it says on the note. So that's all I have for you, Your Honor.
All right, and what's the state's position?
Given the failure to appear both mid-September and late October, the state's requesting $500 in the reinstatement of the non-monetary conditions.
So,
No contact with us, Vilio G, banned from 4,000 block of Nakusa Trail, and no drugs.
No objection to the non-monetary conditions. She does appear to get Social Security disability income and qualifies for the public defender's office, as well as doesn't have a permanent residence. So I'd ask you consider a more modest cash, maybe in the amount of $100.
made your bail on GPS because I had no recollection or no information about the failure to appearance offender, not one
So-
bit.
I guess I'd ask Your Honor to consider then a signature bond with pretrial services GPS.
Okay, any response from the state?
No.
Okay. I'm going to order cash in the amount of $250. I'm going to order that Michelle have no contact with Osvilio G. And that Michelle, you're not to be in the 4,000 block of Nakusa Trail in Madison. And you are not to use or possess any controlled substances or drug paraphernalia without a valid prescription. The court will set this for further proceedings. And we are adjourned. Oh, sorry. Well, it looks like Michelle has an attorney assigned. So let's set it for a prelim. Does that work for the state?
Yes.
Okay.
Next up is Timothy Arrow.
And we are adjourned. This is the state of Wisconsin versus Timothy Harold, 25 CF 2586. Can I have appearances, please?
Sam Smith for the state.
Timothy A. Harold appears in person in custody. Attorney Jason Gonzalez is making a special appearance on behalf of the Wisconsin State Public Defender's Office. We have received a copy of the criminal complaint, waive its formal reading, enter a not guilty plea to the misdemeanor counts. The address at 3722 East Karstens Drive, apartment 3 in Madison, 53704 is correct, and he is eligible for services.
So you have the right to have an attorney represent you at a hearing like this today. You have Attorney Gonzalez for today. You're eligible for the Public Defender's Office. Hopefully they get somebody appointed to you for the next few weeks, but it's a process that can take a few months, okay? I find probable cause in the complaint. What are the state's recommendations?
State's recommending $1,000 cash along with the conditions that the defendant have no contact with the individuals with the initials HAE, JMW, TMG, and VDR.
V is in Victor, D is in dog, R is in Romeo.
That's correct.
Okay.
And that he not operate a motor vehicle that is not registered to him. Not have any financial instruments, not possess any financial instruments that are not in his own name. Reason for the cash request. I believe, given all of the counts here when taken together, I'll say, I guess the most serious is a Class F felony, the burglary charges. However, I think everything taken together, there's a relatively large amount of exposure the defendant's facing here. So I think $1,000 is appropriate to ensure his appearance.
All right, there's a PSA file, rates this as a 5 out of 6 on the new criminal activity scale and a 4 out of 6 on the failure to appear scale. It doesn't consider the current offense violent, but it does note that there were pending charges at the time of the offense, prior misdemeanor and felony convictions, no prior violent convictions, no failures to appear in the past 2 years, but some older than 2 years old. It recommends modest cash bail with pretrial supervision. On behalf of Mr. Harold,
Thank you. There is another open case. It's 25 CF 2344. And the reason I'm referring your honor to that namely is because that offense date is October 10th of 2025. The charges he's facing now, I believe, have an offense date of October 9th of 2025. On that older case, he is on a signature bond. There hasn't been any missed court appearances. I don't know all the facts in this case, if, why the charging delay, but, that being said, he was also similar type of conduct, taking drive without consent, et cetera. Obviously, this is a little more severe with the burglary. But I'm asking, given his indigency, that you consider a signature bond with pretrial services. I think that would be appropriate.
And what would pretrial services monitor?
Namely, I think, didn't you say, I think they said a no geographical band?
I didn't actually say that. I was going to wait for Attorney Gonzalez to finish. One thing I neglected to include was a ban from Carbon Apartments, CARBON.
I just inferred since it was a burglary, they didn't want him at the address. Sorry.
Nope, that's right. All right. Any response from the state?
I just think that this is more of a cash bond case as opposed to a pretrial services case, but nothing more to add. Thank you.
Right. Here, I think some cash is appropriate. I'll order $250 cash. The conditions that you have no contact with HAE, JMW, TMG, or VDR. I'll order that you are not to operate a motor vehicle unless that motor vehicle is registered to you. I'll order a ban from the Carbon Apartments, and that you not use or possess a financial instrument that's not in your own name. So no credit cards or anything like that, no checks, unless they have your name on them and you're authorized to have them, okay?
We would ask for a timely prelim, Your Honor.
Okay, we'll keep the time limits in place. I'll enter not guilty pleas to the misdemeanors. $250. I believe that's all I can do for the parties today, so we are adjourned. Thank you. So,
Call the SPD's office.
Take a call, Samuel. Very funny, Sue.
Let me out! Hello? Let me out! Let me out! If they don't let me out, you need to call the police.
do we have Mr. Holt?
Yeah.
Can you give me a thumbs up if we have Mr. Holt?
Thumbs up or something.
You know.
All right. This is the state of Wisconsin versus Samuel Holt, 25 CM 2717. Can I have appearances, please?
Sam Smith for the state.
Samuel B. Brown Holt appears from the Dane County Jail. Attorney Jason Gonzalez is making a special appearance on behalf of the Wisconsin State Public Defender's Office. Mr. Holt is eligible for the services. We'd waive it formal reading of the criminal complaint, enter not guilty pleas to all the misdemeanor counts that are in, and it is a misdemeanor case. 1105 South Thompson Drive, Madison 53716 should be the correct address.
Alrighty. So, Mr. Holt, you have the right to have an attorney represent you on a case like this. You're eligible for the public defender. The next step is for an attorney to accept appointment to your case. That process can take a few weeks, but sometimes it can take longer than that, okay? So just hang in there. I find probable cause in the complaint. What are the state's recommendations?
State's recommending cash bail in the amount of $1,000, along with a ban from the 100 block of North Broome Street. It's in Madison. State's also requesting a no contact with Darren B. It's DARIN, last initial B as in boy. And a no contact with Tommy S. TOMMY, last initial S as in Smith. Reason for the cash request here, Your Honor, there are multiple Act 3 eligible crimes. I'll also note, it's my understanding the incident date is 6 days after Mr. Holt received a signature bond in a different case. And here we're seeing his behavior is escalating into violence and committing crimes, new crimes here while out on bond for previous cases, or at least a case. For those reasons, the state feels $1,000 is appropriate.
All right, there's a PSA filed with the court. Considers the new allegations 4 out of 6 on the new criminal activity, and Mr. Holt a 2 out of 6 on the failure to appear. Considers the current allegations violent. Notes that there are pending charges at the time of the offense. No prior misdemeanor or felony convictions. Consequently, no prior violent convictions and no failures to appear. Recommends cash pretrial supervision. Attorney Gonzalez.
Thank you, Your Honor. I would note he does have representation, Assistant State Public Defender Brittany Dickey, for future court appearances. I think she'll be assigned to that, or they'll be assigned to it. In terms of bail, we're asking that you consider a modest cash bail, if you're going to order pretrial services or a signature bond with pretrial services. He is indigent, and it doesn't look like there's a history of missed court appearances. Make sure. So I'd ask that you consider signature on pretrial services, or an alternative, a lower cash bail, maybe in the amount of $150.
And any response from the state?
No.
All right. Anytime I see what looks like escalating behavior, I'm going to be concerned. Here, I think $500 cash is appropriate with the conditions that Mr. Holt will be banned from the 100 block of North Broome Street, and he's to have no contact with Darren B. or Tammy S. No contact means no contact through a third party, in person, directly, electronically, indirectly. No contact means no contact, all right? Do you have any questions about that, Mr. Holt? Give me a thumbs down, say no.
Look like a thumbs up to me.
Okay, do you have some questions?
No.
Okay,
No, I know.
all right, then I'll enter not guilty pleas to all counts since they're all misdemeanors, and we are adjourned. Thank you.
Tommy is versus JVX, is that correct?
I thought it was Tommy.
Tommy, yes, yeah.
Next up is Shane Yehling Weger.
This is the state of Wisconsin versus Shane Yehling Weger, 25 CM 2724. Can I have appearances, please?
Sam Smith for the state.
Shane J. Yehling Weger appears in person. He's in custody. Attorney Jason Gonzalez is making a special appearance on behalf of the Wisconsin State Public Defender's Office. We have received a copy of the criminal complaint, waive its formal reading, enter not guilty pleas at this time. And I'm looking for, I'm not sure that were you evaluated by the public defender? Okay, he has not been evaluated by the public defender, Your Honor. I'll give you the paperwork.
So you have the right to have an attorney represent you in a case like this. That can occur a few ways. You could represent yourself. I'm assuming you're not an attorney, but you can represent yourself. You could hire an attorney at your own expense, or you can go through the public defender. If you want the public defender to evaluate you, you'll have to reach out to them. I'd encourage you to do that as soon as possible if that's the route you're going to go, because they do have what can be quite a long waiting list, okay?
Is this your address on that?
Yes.
The 2718 Dunwoody Drive, Madison 53713 is correct.
All right. I find probable cause in the complaint. What are the state's recommendations?
The state is recommending cash bail in the amount of $500. no contact with Holly Y. It's common spelling. No contact with Joey Y. Again, common spelling. Banned from the 2700 block of Dunwoody Drive, DUNWOODY. And that he not consume or possess alcohol. Reason for the cash in this case, I'll note no recent failures to appear and no recent criminal history. Looks like the defendant was actively hiding from law enforcement after leaving his vehicle abandoned in a parking lot. Law enforcement had to employ a canine unit to track him down. And sounds like it took quite a bit of time to track down to the defendant. Based on that and what's alleged here in the complaint, I think $500 is appropriate.
All right. And Attorney Gonzalez?
I'm asking for a signature bond on putting him in CCAP. I don't see any prior court history. So there's no history of missed court appearances. He does sound like he has a house residence. I believe the alleged victims here are his children and wife. I'm not sure if the 72-hour no contact was imposed, but I guess
It was.
It was, okay. We're asking that you not ban him from his residence or having contact with them and having no acts or threats of violence.
And Your Honor, there's not a victim that wants to speak, but and I should have done this initially, wants their wishes read into the record, if I may.
Yes, please.
The victim that I mentioned, Joey Y, that person wants contact and for the defendant to come home.
Let me see when the no contact expires. Does the state know when the 72-hour no contact expires?
I do not. I can attempt to find out.
Did you get arrested yesterday?
Yesterday around like 4 AM.
Okay, and then did you get served no contact?
What I received.
Is that?
The defendant has stated contact in the date and time.
Honestly, Your Honor, I think it's probably gonna go through the 15th if he got arrested and was served with it on the early morning of the 12th.
Okay. So nothing that I ordered today is going to change that no contact, all right? So that's in place, that's locked in. What I'll do today is I'm going to take a chance that hopefully, hopefully we don't run into any issues with you not appearing for court, or violating bond or anything like that. Because if you do, things can escalate, and they can escalate quite fast, all right? So one way they can escalate is by, if there's violations, the state can charge you with bail jumping. Those tend to multiply really, really fast. We could come back to court and I could order a no contact. I could order that you have no contact with the residents that the state requested. And if you don't have someplace else to go, that would essentially mean that you're homeless or you'd have to find somebody else to crash with, okay? Given that I don't see any history here between the parties. Between specifically Mr. Yehling Weger and the alleged victim here. And the victim's wishes to have contact despite the 72-hour. I'm going to order a signature bond with the conditions that you make no acts or threats of violence to Holly Y or Joey Y. And I won't order the ban from the Dunwoody Drive address. I will order that you not use or possess any alcohol as well. Another way this can escalate is that somebody in my spot could order pretrial services to enforce that condition. They could do that by remote breath testing, which means You'd have certain times of the day where you'd have to blow into a breathalyzer. Or there could be a cam bracelet that monitors your body for alcohol use 24/7. So please comply with the conditions, because if you don't, there's only gonna be escalation, okay? I'll enter not guilty please. I believe that's all I can do for the parties today unless I missed something. And we are adjourned.
Good luck, sir.
Thank you.
And finish this one. Next up is JAVONTE Kitchen, appearing by Zoom.
Was this a group file? And do we have Mr. Kitchen appearing by Zoom? Can you give me a thumbs up? Okay, see a thumbs up. This is the group file of bail hearing for JAVONTE Kitchen 25 GF 3707. Can I have appearances, please?
Sam Smith for the state.
JAVONTE Kitchen appears from the Dane County Jail. Attorney Jason Gonzalez is making a special appearance on behalf of the Wisconsin State Public Defender's Office. Your Honor, he does qualify for services, and any address should be 339 Bunting, Bunting Lane, Madison 53704.
Right, we'll get that address updated in our system. We're here on a group file. That means charges haven't been filed yet, but the state is expecting to probably file something in the future. What are the state's recommendations for bail, and about how long is the state expecting before it has a determination on whether a complaint will be filed?
So in regards to bail, the state's requesting a signature bond, no contact with SFB, Sam Fred Boy, or any member of SFB's family. Also conditioned that the defendant be supervised by an adult when in contact with any juveniles. A ban from the 200 block of Cardinal Lane. That's in Madison 53704. And that he report to pretrial services for GPS monitoring. The state is requesting additional 30 days to file a criminal complaint. As far as a out of custody IA date, the state would propose or request December 29th at 8:30. The reason for this timeline or that request is there is some additional investigation that needs to be completed.
Right. Then on behalf of Mr. Kitchen.
We don't have any objection, Your Honor.
Okay. And is Cardinal Lane a smaller street? Is it a thoroughfare?
I confess I don't know. I can attempt to find out, Your Honor.
Okay, I can look that up myself. I didn't know if you had that information off the top of your head. Or in your notes.
Unfortunately, no additional information.
Looks to be one block street. So I'll order a signature bond with the conditions that you have no contact with SFB or their family, that you be supervised by an adult when in contact with any juveniles, that you're banned from Cardinal Lane, and I'll order that you're to report to pretrial services by 10 a.m. of the next business day. That would be tomorrow, for GPS monitoring, okay?
Your Honor, so I'm looking at where Bunting is for the residents. I think it's one block over. I guess I'm only bringing this up because I'm not sure that, I don't know how accurate the pretrial services are. If it's.
Oh, I see.
I think literally they run parallel to each other, one block. So
Yep.
I'm just putting that on the record. I guess I'm not asking you to change anything, but.
So it looks like Bunting Lane is the kind of the more main thoroughway. So we'll leave it as it is. If there's an issue with that, well, we can address it in the future. But I think their monitoring should be accurate enough to distinguish when Mr. Kitchen's on Bunting or when he's on Cardinal Lane.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you for flagging that though. And with that, we are adjourned. Mr. Kitchen, make sure to check your mail, okay? If you have a court date coming up, you'll find out in there or the next steps with your case, all right?
All right, thank you.
Okay, and we'll get the court date set right now.
What did you say?
The 29th of December.
December 29th of this year, at any time, but I guess 8:30 if possible.
We do 10:30 on Thursday instead.
So, on Thursday?
Yeah,
I
we
see.
can do 8:30 for 10. On Mondays and Thursdays are 10.
So Thursday, the first, I don't believe we're open, and the Thursday before that, I don't believe we're open as well. 'Cause that's Christmas.
Right, and Monday is the 29th, so. I mean, I could do Monday the 5th, but then it has to be at 8:30, or I could do Thursday the 8th at 10:30, that's your call.
I see.
Why can't you guys do 8:30? Is there a victim issue or something?
That's what I asked for, 8:30.
Oh, so
Oh, I thought you said you can't do 8:30.
No, I said anytime, but 8:30 if possible is preferable.
Okay, I thought you meant.
I didn't know there were 8:30 and 10:30.
Okay, so 7, 8, 3. Oh, that's not.
Perfect.
perfect,
I'm
thanks.
sorry for miscommunication.
All right. So that, they'll adjourn us, Mr. Kitchen. Thank you.
Next up is Jeremy Elysius.
No, that's my bad.
Great, Jeremy. I just steal that from you.
This is the state of Wisconsin versus Jeremy Elysius, 25 CF 1883, 25 CF 2062, 25 CF 2063, and 25 CF 2582, and 25 CM 2714. Can I have appearances, please?
Sam Smith for the state.
Jeremy S. Elysius appears in person. He's in custody. Attorney Jason Gonzalez is making a special appearance on behalf of the Wisconsin State Public Defender's Office. Your Honor, we have received copies of the respective criminal complaints. We'd waive their formal reading. Enter not guilty pleas to the misdemeanor counts and the respective complaints. The address on 818 West Main Street, apartment 324 in Sun Prairie is correct. And 1 second, I'll tell you here. He is eligible for services through the Public Defender's Office. Give these back. Give this to them.
So you have the right to have an attorney represent you in cases like this. You're eligible for the public defender. Hopefully they get somebody appointed to you within the next few weeks, but it is a process that could take a few months, okay?
So I'll bring them to you. We're just fine. I just wanted to make sure.
I find probable cause in the complaints. I'll note that there were PSAs filed in these cases. They consider this a 4 out of 6 on the new criminal activity, and Mr. Elysius a 4 out of 6 on the failure to appear. Doesn't consider the current offenses violent. Notes there were pending charges at the time of the offense, prior misdemeanor convictions, but no prior felony convictions, no prior violent convictions, 1 failure to appear in the past 2 years, but no failures to appear older than 2 years old. Recommends a signature bond. What are the state's recommendations?
Starting with 25 CF 1883, the state is requesting $1,000 cash and a ban from Home Depot. Reason for the cash, the defendant has been in felony warrant status since July 15th in Columbia County, I believe that is. In the meantime, he's committed at least, or what's being alleged is that he's committed at least 4 separate retail thefts in Dane County during that time. In 25 CF 2062, the state is again requesting $1,000 and a ban from Home Depot. Reason for the cash is the same as the previous case. 25 CF 2063. And another identical recommendation from the state, $1,000 and a ban from Home Depot. 25 CF 2582. The state's recommending $500 and a ban from all farm and fleet locations. And lastly, I believe 25 CM 2714. The state is requesting $500 and a ban from Woodman's. And again, I know across each of these cases, Commissioner, that collectively sounds like a large sum of money. However, I think what the state's requesting is reasonable given the amount of time he spent in felony warrant status, and in the meantime, committing new crimes while in warrant status. Thank you.
That was so in warrant status since July 15th of 2025.
That's correct. Out of a Columbia County case, I can provide the case number if you give me just a moment.
It's 25 CF 211.
And on behalf of Mr. Alicius.
Your Honor, I'll just tell you, the case in Columbia County is related to drug use. I don't think then what we have pending here is perhaps a surprise. But the PSA is recommending a signature bond. I'm asking that you give them a signature bond with maybe pretrial services. We have no issues with the non-monetary conditions of the bans from the respective retailers. But it only looks like there was one missed court appearances and not several. And again, I'm just inferring from this, if there is an addiction issue, hopefully that can be addressed. Once he's in the community, it's really otherwise in the jail, it's going to be forced sobriety. He doesn't have a substantial means as he is indigent, and he qualifies for the SPD services. So I'd ask that you consider a signature bond with those conditions and maybe pretrial services.
Right. And any response from the state?
No, thank you.
Okay. Yeah, just the sheer number of cases, what's alleged to have been taken. I think these are cash cases. I don't think the state's numbers are appropriate, though they're a little bit high. What I'll do is I'll order $500 cash and 25 CF 1883 2062 2063 and 2582. And 25 CM 2714. That'll be $200 cash. I'll adopt the state's ban conditions, so, and that's banned from Home Depot's, Farm and Fleet, and Woodman's. We'll just have those conditions match in every case, just so everything's nice and clear. I'll enter not guilty pleas as to any misdemeanors. For the felonies, will the time limits be kept or waived?
We'd ask to keep them.
Okay, we'll keep the time limits for the preliminary hearings in place then, and we are adjourned. Yep, thank you.
All right, thanks. Is there just one more? Or no?
You see this?
Oh.
Hey, Bobby, for another one.
Yeah.
Who did you say is next?
Didn't see it, so.
Oh. Appreciate everybody being on the ball today. Thank you.
Okay. Sounds good.
And who do we have appearing by Zoom?
Travis Rasmussen. Whenever we're ready.
Hey, is that white thing a charger?
Yeah, you need it?
Yeah, I'm about to die.
It's all, you do like one more case on your back. This is like how STDs are gonna put our back to. Yes, yes.
I'll get the recorder going. Eventually. Sorry, we were making good time. Thank you for your patience, Mr. Rasmussen. We'll get started here in a moment. This is the state of Wisconsin versus Travis Rasmussen, 25 CF 2517. Can I have appearances, please?
Sam Smith for the state.
Travis C. Rasmussen appears in custody from the Dane County Jail. Attorney Jason Gonzalez is making a special appearance on behalf of the Wisconsin State Public Defender's Office. Your Honor, we have received a copy of the criminal complaint. We'd waive its formal reading, enter not guilty plea to any misdemeanor counts. I would note the address should be 110 Aspen Glen, Spring Green, Wisconsin 53588, if he is not incarcerated, but I believe he might be on appeal hold.
Yep, I see that. He's on a hold and revocation was initiated. You say Mr. Rasmussen is eligible for a public defender?
Yes, he is. Sorry,
Okay,
Your Honor.
that looks like
Attorney
was
Dickey.
appointed.
Yep, I believe Mike.
All right. So you have the right to have an attorney represent you on a case like this, okay, sir? And it looks like you have an attorney who is appointed. I find probable cause in the complaint. What are the state's recommendations?
State is requesting a signature bond and no consuming or possessing controlled substances or drug paraphernalia without a valid prescription.
No objection. I'm gonna ask though the time limits stay in place, given that he's in custody for other matters, so.
Okay. So I'll order a signature bond with the condition that you not use or possess any controlled substances or drug paraphernalia without a valid prescription. We'll keep the time limits in place for the preliminary hearing, and we are adjourned. Thank you, sir.
Oh, for me, sorry, it was 110 Aspen, ASPEN, Glen, GLEN, Spring Green, and the zip provided was 53588.
Is Aspen Glen?
Next up is Amadou Jallo.
This is the state of Wisconsin versus Mamadou Jallo, 25 CF 2589. Can I have appearances, please?
Sam Smith for the state.
Mamadou I. Jallo appears in person. He's in custody. Attorney Jason Gonzalez is making a special appearance on behalf of the Public Defender's Office. Your Honor, we have received a copy of the criminal complaint. We'd waive its formal reading, enter not guilty plea to the misdemeanor counts. In terms of the address. Okay, the address at 5106 Milwaukee Street is correct, and I believe he does qualify. He is eligible.
Okay. I find probable cause in the complaint. What are the state's recommendations?
State is recommending cash bail in the amount of $500, along with the conditions that you have no contact with SRJ.
And is that the same person listed in the bail conditions in 25 CM 1537?
Sorry, what was that case number, Your Honor?
25 CM 1537.
Yes. State is also requesting, sorry, just one moment while this loads. No contact with IJJ. No acts or threats of violence towards SEJ. It's ESSIE. A ban from the 5100 block of Milwaukee Street. No consumption or possession of alcohol. I'll note that the first victim I named, SRJ, as the court indicated, is already, I believe, in no contact. That person enforced the 72-hour no contact, and it is the second incident between them. The defendant pled guilty in another case to a disorderly conduct. That's all I have to add. Thank you.
And on behalf of Mr. Jallo?
Thank you, Your Honor. We have no issues with the conditions. In terms of the bail, we're asking that you consider a signature bond. He doesn't have a lengthy record. I believe the 25 CM 1537 case that he's in deferred prosecution for is the extent of his adult record. I don't know about juvenile stuff, but there's no history of missed court appearances. He's a lifelong resident of Dane County. His parents, siblings, extended family, friends all reside in Dane County, and he was most recently employed at SSM Health, working in October of this year. For those reasons, I'd ask you to consider a signature bond with the conditions as agreed upon.
And what about the mailing address?
If he can't be at 5106, okay. He was gonna go to your grandmother's. It was where he would stay. He doesn't know that off the top of his head. I don't know if you could give him, if he gets out, or within 24 hours, update the court.
Yep. So what I'll do, and any response to the state?
I'll just note, I think this is a cash case with the repeat conduct and with the same victim.
I agree, but I do think $500 is a little bit too high given Mr. Jallo's position. I do understand we're in Act 3 territory. I think $250 cash is appropriate, along with the conditions that Mr. Jallo, you have no contact with SRJ or IJJ, that you make no acts or threats of violence to SCJ. I'll order that you're banned from the 5100 block in Milwaukee Street, and you're not to use or possess any alcohol, or I should say consume or possess any alcohol. I'll enter not guilty pleas to counts 2 or 3, and I'm sorry if you said this, would the time limits be kept or waived?
I guess I'd ask to keep them, Your Honor.
Okay, we'll keep the time limits in place then. Mr. Jallo, if you figure out a new mailing address, you should let the court know as soon as possible so that we're sending mail to the right place. The mail we send are the notices for court. You can also sign up to receive the notices for court by text messaging. It'll be on a green form that you should be back there by the bond. All right. All right. And with that, we are adjourned. Thank you.
Yep.
Next up is Quincy Moon.
This is the state of Wisconsin versus Quincy Moon, 25 CM 2677. Can I have appearances, please?
ADA Sam Smith for the state.
Quincy L. Moon appears in custody with attorney Jason Gonzalez, who is appearing on especially on behalf of the Wisconsin State Public Defender's Office. Your Honor, we have received a copy of the criminal complaint, waive its formal reading, enter not guilty pleas to all the counts. The address is 2981 Coho Street is correct, and he is eligible for services. He has attorney Zawada appointed to a different matter.
Right. So you have the right to have an attorney represent you in a case like this. Attorney Zawada should get appointed to this case, assuming there's no conflicts or anything like that. But if not, it's a process that could take a little bit. But hopefully, Attorney Zawada can hop right on. I find probable cause in the complaint. What are the state's recommendations?
I know there's nobody in the, I don't believe there's anyone else in the live stream, but I have information that there is a victim that wants to be heard.
Okay, if there's somebody who identifies, there's somebody who identifies as a victim in this case, can you please unmute and identify yourself? But it doesn't look like, from what I can see, just so the record's clear, that we have any victims in the Zoom room.
With that, the state's requesting a signature bond. You know, just for the record, I am going to read the victim's wishes into the record, since they're not here to speak on them and at one point wanted to be heard. The victim states they want contact with the defendant, wants him to return home as soon, as long as he is taking his medication. That's all the information I have from the victim. With that, the state's requesting a signature bond, no acts or threats of violence towards Annette W, ANNETTE. That's all the conditions. Thank you.
No objection.
W as in
William.
Yeah. I heard no objection on behalf of Mr. Moon. Right. So I'll enter not guilty pleas on your behalf. I'll order a signature bond with the condition that you make no acts or threats of violence to Annette W. She wants you to take your medication. I'm not going to order that. But I will let you know that this is probably the lightest touch that you get. If you're back in court with similar allegations, or allegations that you're violating bond, there could be an escalation in bail conditions to no contact, to GPS monitoring, or cash that would need to be posted before you'd be able to be released. Could also result in charges of bail jumping, okay? And those multiply everything really, really fast, okay? So it's going to be very important that you comply with this condition. I don't want you back in court with new stuff. If you're here, I want you resolving cases so that you can move forward. All right. So that'll be my order for today. I'll enter not guilty pleas on your behalf, and we are adjourned. Thank you.
Next up is Marshawn Taylor.
Good.
Thanks.
Good.
After this.
I can run. Let's run.
Yep, that's forfeiture. So Attorney Gonzalez won't need to be here for that.
Thank you.
This is the state of Wisconsin versus Marshawn Taylor, 21 CF 2066 and 25 CF 2588. Can I have appearances, please?
Sam Smith for the state.
Marshawn D. Taylor appears in person. He's in custody. Attorney Jason Gonzalez is making a special appearance on his behalf, on behalf of the Wisconsin State Public Defender. Your Honor, we have received copies of the criminal complaints. We'd waive their formal readings. I would note the address should be 1819 Aberg Avenue, Madison 53704. He is eligible. He has attorney Laura Bruin on other matters who I believe will get assigned to the new matter.
All right. It looks like we're years past the IA. The IA was held September 2021. There were some attorneys, modifications to bail throughout 2022. More attorney modifications, adjourned hearings in 2023. Status conferences, a non-appearance in 2024. A bail bond hearing at the end November 2024. Another withdrawal of counsel, order appointing counsel. Into 2025 with status conferences. Looks like there were witness list pretrial jury selection set in 2026. And we're back here for a bail hearing due to a pretrial services violation. What are the state's recommendations?
The state is recommending cash bail in the amount of $5,000, along with the conditions that the defendant have no contact with the co-defendant, DEZIREE Hood, that he not consume or possess controlled substances or drug paraphernalia without a valid prescription, and that he not possess any financial instruments or identification documents unless they are issued in his own name. I apologize, that was in regards to 25 CF 2588.
All of those conditions?
Correct. And in regards to the older case for bail here, the state is requesting, given the history of failing to appear, the new case, and I believe bail was previously set in that case at,
The older case?
yeah, in 21 CF 2066, I think it's at $3,000.
I should have said, of course, it's the older case, wouldn't be on the new case. I'm just looking through the minutes. I see $1,000 cash posted November 2024. See. Got $3,000.
Given that information, the state's requesting an increase in cash in that case. I'll defer to the court if how much, or if it thinks a increase is appropriate. That's all I have. Thank you.
And is the state requesting pretrial services remain in place? with,
Yes.
Drug monitoring?
Yes.
And Attorney Gonzalez?
Thank you, Your Honor. My client wishes, Mr. Taylor wishes me to ask you to consider a signature bond. He is indigent, or the least amount of cash you feel is appropriate to ensure compliance with the requirements of bail. And we have no objection to the conditions.
So in 21 CF 2066, I'll increase cash by $500. So the total amount that'll have to be posted before release is $3,500. We'll keep pretrial services in place to monitor drug monitoring. And we'll keep the condition in place that Mr. Taylor not use or possess any controlled substances or drug paraphernalia without a valid prescription. And 25 CF 2588, I'll order $4,000 cash with the conditions that he have no contact with DEZIREE Hood, that he not use or possess any controlled substances or drug paraphernalia without a valid prescription. And I can't read my handwriting. Is there a condition I missed?
In regards to the new case,
88, yep, the new case.
I requested no contact with the co-defendant, no drugs, and no financial instruments or identification documents that are not in his own name.
Yep, and I'll order that Mr. Taylor not use or possess any financial transaction, instruments or documents not in his name. I'll enter. These are all felonies. Will the time limits for the prelim be kept or waived?
Kept, Your Honor, please.
Okay. We'll keep the time limits in place on the newest case then. I believe that's all I can do for the parties today, so we are adjourned. Thank you.
Yep. Let me get Laurel, but in fact, she can file a motion to reduce it. Okay, so you're good.
Right this way. Next up is Tristan Wright for a forfeiture.
Thanks, Sam.
Yeah, thank you.
So you can come over here.
This is Dane County versus Tristan Wright, 25 FO 2201. Can I have appearances, please?
County appears by ADA Sam Smith, the defendant Tristan Wright. He's here, he's in custody without counsel.
And are you Mr. Wright?
Yes, sir.
Good afternoon. We're here because the state has decided to charge your case as an ordinance violation, like a traffic ticket, instead of as a criminal violation.
Okay.
Specifically, they charged you with a county disorderly conduct charge. I expect there will be an offer to resolve your case today. What that means is whether you decide to resolve today or not, you will unconditionally be released from custody for this case. However, if you have other cases, they could affect your release. And is there an offer to resolve?
Yes, that would be for court costs only. I believe that would be $114.50.
So you have an absolute right to plead not guilty, and we can set this case for further proceedings. Otherwise, you can enter a no contest or guilty plea, and you'd be fined $114.50. Payment of that amount can be arranged through the clerk of courts, and you would have 60 days to pay. Would you like to resolve your case today for that amount?
Yes,
Okay, and what plea would you like to enter?
no contest.
Okay, then I'll accept your no contest plea, adjudicate you guilty, enter a fine for you in the amount of $114.50, and we are adjourned. Thank you. I believe that's everybody for the day.
I know. I agree with that. You probably love the dark sleep that when you called out dark, he was probably sleeping.
Oh, I didn't mean to put him on the spot.
I had something to add on his hand.
No, it should just be kept on for the second case, like it was. Thank
You guys have a good one.
You too, thank you.
I don't want to hear. Yes. Having a realistic. Well. I'll let you know. That was all that happened with Mr. Boone there.
I don't know what's going on. He's, if I had to give my best